Uh, okay. Is it general knowledge? Then what would change if we understood spiritual tablets, and how would our life be different if we don't understand spiritual tablets? Let's start
It
at
is
that.
for
Yeah.
me. I think that it is giving awareness for us on our body health,
Hmm.
how it is related to our body, mind, and soul,
Right.
and also how once we understand that, uh, we will know. Then slowly we will learn how to be healthy, wise, and helpful. So this
Okay.
is what my understanding is.
It's not very far, but yes, that is correct. Any other different viewpoint?
So for me, like, see, if I look at my life before, I am uh, totally not. I'm not totally religious, but fairly religious. I go to temple and believe in God and practices all the rituals and all that, and believe in karma, all that. What the spiritual starting the meditation process and the spiritual tablets have taught me is that most of it is our own creation. Okay. I've started understanding that it is truly means yad bhavam tad bhavati. Okay, though I heard this sentence before, but now I have started realizing it. Okay,
Hmm.
and I have also realized that my thoughts have I can communicate, or they are some people can receive my thoughts with what I am thinking. As an example, Chandra Pulmar Shetty sir came to Austin.
Hmm.
Okay, he
Hmm.
was giving a lecture. He gave the lecture. He invited two persons to the dais for sharing the knowledge.
Hmm.
I was talking to myself, Chandra sir, please call me to the dais. I want to share. Chandra sir, please call me to the dais. I want to share.
Hmm.
Okay, I did not speak out. But then after the program is over, Chandra sir came to me and said, I'm sorry, I wanted to call you, but I did not call you.
Hmm.
And the way you said it is, if you have promised something to your son or daughter to bring something from work and you could not bring it because of some reason, and the way you apologize, that is how he spoke to me. Okay, I was
Hmm.
very surprised. This is something I have not told anybody that I want to share, but this person could understand. Okay, there is another example. I was in a bathroom taking shower, and after my shower I wanted to tell my wife to call my friend's wife to do something, about some family thing. Okay, fine, done. I came back, about half an hour is passed. Then my wife tells me that she has called her, and there is an answer. See, this is something, but the communication has happened without any verbal communication. I have started realizing that there is something is going on. Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can, I can.
Uh, Actually, my tablet battery is dying, so I have to do something.
Hmm.
So, this is my experience of coming here, and I have started realizing that so many people who have been going through health transformations, right?
Okay, okay.
Though my primary intent of joining spiritual tablets is also that most of you know, right? Sorry, I'm playing with my tablet, so that is why you see the. Okay, so
Hmm.
I have been working with the spiritual tablets team in making sure that something happens, and it kind of like touch and go. Something happened, not happened, and all that.
Okay.
So I realize that there is something, but it needs a lot of uh, what should I say, practice and implementation. Continuous monitoring and observation is required.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let us try to link it with this book that we are doing on Tuesdays, your time, right? Thinking and Destiny.
Yeah.
Uh, why is thinking and destiny relevant for spiritual tablets and vice versa? Okay. Any views from that perspective? Because I would say this much: you could start with what Lata ma'am just mentioned, what her take is, and
Uh-huh.
integrate it with what your take is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And trying to put the two together, could you tell me why these two are so important?
Mm.
Just think.
Yeah.
No,
I
one
think
thing.
it's,
Okay,
I,
go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yeah.
sorry, I think it's important by putting it all together, for our lives as well as the patient, in the future, if you're taking care of some patients, it's important for them to realize their future and, make corrections in themselves and, improve their life and the patient's life too, I
So
think.
that's a good point. So just to see that we improve our understanding of life and lead that life in a particular manner. These are all the light path of or the wisdom path of us. The wisdom that is not taught, but the wisdom that is very helpful for us in continuing our life, right? Making the life more meaningful, making the life more purposeful, right? So, first of all, this book on thinking and destiny teaches us everything about the evolution of what we individually understand of the word universe, right? And how this universe impacts our lifestyle. So the moment we say in spiritual tablets, we say universal love, cosmic energy, all these terms, right? They are all part and parcel of this universe. We are habitants. What is that? Ah, yeah. So that this book is giving us the clarity of how we should practically look at the word universe. The universe is basically matter. This matter goes through various stages, and it can that understanding can only be derived from this body. In the absence of the body, we will not be able to increase the consciousness of anything. Like some people say the body is the temple. Scientifically, this body is a very important element for progression of the universe. And we also get to understand that the universe has got various stages, which is at the lowest stage, it is an element. That element progresses or progresses through as its pathway through spheres, through worlds, through states, through substates, and acquires its understanding based on the experiences that it goes through. Then it gets together to acquire a form. That form is joined by breath, and then it becomes from elemental state to it moves on to intelligent state, and then it evolves into what we understand as the thinker, the knower, the doer, and combines itself with all these entities joined by an immortal body that becomes the triune self. Now, for all practical purposes, we expect the triune self to be a completely balanced entity. And in the triune self, look at this. He says you have got three components: the knower, the thinker, the doer,
Yeah.
coupled with a body. Right? So let us look at it. The knower has got two components, the active and the passive. The thinker has got the two components, the active and the passive. And the doer has got two components, the active and the passive. Correct? What is the knower's two components? The selfness and the I-ness.
Oh, the selfness.
Correct. Selfness is everything to do with knowledge. Right? And anyone recalls what is the other one? I-ness?
Um, through whatever you see through your eyes.
No, 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 no.
Oh, you mean I-ness? I.
Ah,
Now I got it's like I. Okay.
yeah. So, what is I-ness? Even I forgot. See,
I-ness
the
means like
selfness and I-ness, one sec. Uh, right, in the triune self, what is this? Anyway, we will come back to that. I will locate that selfness and I-ness and then I will explain. Let us for a moment leave it aside. And then you have the thinker, whose active and passive component. I-ness is actually the ego side of things. But anyway,
Y-
the
You said
right,
identity, sir.
yes, that is the ego.
Yeah.
The selfness and the I-ness. Then the second entity is the thinker. The thinker's active and passive components are the righteousness and what?
Reason.
Reason. Very good. Right?
I'm seeing
అందుకనే
and telling,
that
not
is why
remembering.
Telugu there are some very good terms. గురువును మించిన శిష్యులు.
Oh, no, sir. I wrote it down when you told last time, so I'm reading
Correct,
from my
correct.
book.
No. Yes. Basically, there are students who are better than the guru because guru keeps aging, and with aging, if he doesn't forget, then something is wrong.
If Guru is aging, Shishya is also aging.
Anyway, right? So now the third element, the doer, right? The doer has got two entities, which is the desire and the feeling.
Desire and feeling. Okay.
Desire and feeling. So you have identity, you have knowledge, you have reason, you have righteousness, you have feeling, you have desire. So these are defining the contours of consciousness, right? The dependencies, what is required, and consciousness is the ability to see through or utilize all this and experience it. That is doing it, right? And the doing it should be such that we are able to balance the desire and feeling, and amongst these stages lies the progression. Okay. Now, for these to work, the link between them, the link for our life, all this happens to be thinking, thoughts. Are you all with me?
I missed it, sir, because I was disconnected.
Huh.
It's
No. I'm saying that we have three major components inside us,
yeah.
right? And they have got the active and passive components, and integrating all of them is life. The purpose of life is to strike a balance, right? And that balance can happen by the seesaw of desire and feeling, but
Mhm.
controlled and linked through by thoughts.
Okay.
See, desire and feeling, the moment they start fluctuating, you need thoughts to balance them, correct?
Yeah.
Now, the thoughts have to be reasonable, that means acceptable for the universe in which you are, and it needs to be just, correct?
Mhm.
So, you have reason and righteousness,
Yeah.
right? And the last but not the least entity is for that to be right, for that to be reason, I mean, it is for it to be reason, I mean, satisfy reason and righteousness, that is the parameter on which justice prevails. You need
Mhm.
knowledge, you need identity, correct?
Yeah.
So that is how all these are embodied. When you are balanced, you are an occupant of a triune self, an evolved, experienced triune self, a knowledgeable triune self, which is occupying what is known as the realm of permanence.
Okay.
Okay,
So when do we get that?
pardon?
When do we get that dream of permanence? Moksha.
We were there, but because we were not able to sustain our balance
Yeah.
between the thinking and feeling,
Uh-huh.
right? We were pushed down to come back to that place after learning. Okay. So we are always there because a component of us is fully there. What we call the higher self. And one demarcation, because somewhere I felt people are still linking the concepts of spirituality with religion. No, religion, its rituals, etc., have nothing to do with spirituality. Because remove this body, let me know your religion. Right? It is our level of ignorance which is saying my identity is a religion. No, remove this body, right? Then you cannot discriminate. When you have water in a mug and in a bucket, you will say this is a mug of water. But you mix it with the water in the bucket and pour that into an ocean and pull out your bucket of water.
Yeah.
We cannot, right? So you have the universe, you have the individual selves, the buckets and the mug, that is we individuals, and we evolve. Okay. So you need to understand that there are so many, which in spiritual tablets, the knower, thinker, doer is akin to your energy, wisdom, and consciousness units. Okay. By manipulating them properly, you are able to sustain its balance, right? Or else your actions, your thoughts, etc., will result in that collapsing. For which we have got what we understand the basic 12 spiritual tablets. See, I am trying to merge what we are learning in thinking and destiny with that of spiritual tablets so that the understanding and its utility value we are able to enhance. Okay. So now the universe is there, we have to exist, we have to coexist.
Sir, I'm going to interrupt. Are you recording?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I felt, as I have been reading these books, I felt that nowhere are we learning the integration of life with spiritual tablets. Okay. And understanding that as an integrated component helps us draw the best out of the whole. So now, when we are in the realm of permanence, right, there is one more layer of the universe above that, which is known as the intelligence.
Oh, okay.
Okay. above the permanence is intelligence. That means that is the ultimate. As far as what we can perceive, there is one more layer about it, which is Shiva. Okay. So now intelligence will keep on testing the occupants of the universe and will keep on testing and interfering in the overall progression of the universe. But it will not directly come to work, it will work through the realm of permanence, which is occupied by balanced entities. Right? In various books, they are referred to as Yakshinis, they are referred to as Gandharvas, they are referred to as Kinkarvas, and so many. Okay. But this realm of permanence is nothing but occupied by those people who have been through the grind and have evolved and learned to balance and manage the world. So these people, right, they have got a methodology of managing the universe. But where are the guidelines coming from? The objective of the universe is to progress. Right? Our thoughts have got four important components. What are they? So the progression happens through experience, which means thoughts that occur to us have to undergo a grind and they have to exteriorize or manifest.
Right.
Because in this physical earth, in this sphere of the physical earth, we perceive things in the physical form.
Yes.
Okay. So exteriorization is an important parameter,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
right? Now,
Intent.
our thoughts have got four important points which happen. Okay, I would call them four fulcrums or resting points of exteriorization. So it needs a thought,
Purpose.
right? Primarily, the thought needs to have a purpose. The thought needs to have an aim, and it needs to have a place and time. So aim and purpose is one and the same. So a thought, a purpose, exteriorization, for which time and place are important. Okay. Now, this thought is because of the balance and imbalance of knowing and feeling. That is, sorry, not knowing, it is the desire and feeling. Hmm? See the linkage. Okay. Now, for this to be exteriorized, every thought that is coming out of a feeling and a desire has its objective to be exteriorized. The feeling and desire are emanating from an individual doer. Okay, are you with me,
Mhm.
all of you? So this doer has got the feeling and desire. He is also the custodian of balancing them, and depending upon his state of consciousness, state of awareness, he will either be in touch with the knower and thinker who is occupying the, where is your knower and thinker sitting?
Yeah, in the next world, wherever it is.
They
Yes,
are
sir.
part
In the
of the
realm of
life itself.
permanence.
They are in the, yeah, in the realm of
Realm
permanence.
of
They are,
permanence.
yes,
Yeah,
but they are not able to progress with anything because a portion of them is sitting in this physical earth. Hmm. So they are there guiding him, and that guidance is received through what we call astral travel. That guidance is received through our dreams. That guidance is received through telepathy, and so on and so forth, which is nothing but a constant reaction or action between the elements of the world and the doer inside the human body, which is the soul. Are you able to connect them now? Now try to define the universe, universal love, the act of meditation, right? And what are you doing in this process? You are trying to balance, increase your consciousness, and thereby achieve the progress of the universe. Do they fall into place?
yeah.
What about others listening? Are you able to relate that?
Yes,
How
Sir.
sir.
thinking and destiny is actually helping us understand spiritual tablets better, and how spiritual tablets is actually putting the content of thinking and destiny into a perspective for us. Are you able to link the two? Chandra Shetty ma'am, Jasbir, Lata ma'am, Shanti, Anjali ma'am, Madhu, Bala,
Yes, yes,
Vidya.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we're trying to understand.
Yes,
No,
Not,
sir.
even
We're
just a little
I'm,
part.
I'm not going to say I got
Even
there, but
Sir, can you repeat
Sir,
the last sentence, sir?
I said, are you able to get the perspective?
Yes, sir, but through meditation, you said something. Can you repeat that sentence?
See, now the act of balancing, these elemental units, right? You need energy, right? The energy comes in various forms, and you need to be able to pump in enough energy for the knower, for the thinker, for the doer to establish a balance beyond just survival, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You are tying all the elements in the universe together by this understanding of some words. What are those words? Words are compassion, words are universal love. You are understanding the word prana, which is nothing but breath. You are understanding the combination of the elements in this universe in the form of a form, giving it a shape, a form, right? The form and the breath together is this physical body. which we understand from science to be nothing but your 120 to 150 trillion cells in an environment created by the various energy patterns within the body and outside the body. Are you with me?
Yes,
Madhu,
sir.
does it answer your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank
Right.
you.
So, if we are able to visualize that, then our perspective, our perception of this subject gets the clarity that it requires. Okay? So, whatever thinking and destiny has taught us, let us now come a little bit into spiritual tablets. Where is the mapping? This has explained the universe in spiritual tablets. We have seen the way the universe is organized. Universe consists of energy, you are calling it cosmic energy, and when you take it inside, you are calling it physical energy. You are giving it various names, but end of the day, that is energy. We are made out of energy. We have got 5 layers of the body, which we recognize, even though there are more than that, but at the physical and subtle for our current state, we need to understand that our energy is vibrating at various frequencies, creating the mind body, which is nothing but your causal body, your spiritual body, and then you're slowly coming down the chain to a physical body. There it was the triune self, a balanced triune self, then getting into an imbalance, becoming elements, break down into fire element or the 5 elements, whatever you understand, right? And then those are evolving, going through various stages, becoming breath form. They are becoming what you call the AIA, which is nothing but a state of readiness for moving into the intelligent side. Now, what is the difference between nature side and intelligent sides? Simple: network analysis versus network synthesis.
Okay.
A mouse has got buttons below it, it has got screws in place to hold it in place, then it has got electronics. All these are elements, correct? When you put them together with a particular function and give them some intelligence, right, they become a functional unit, and their awareness is they know what to do. They are part of a bigger system. Just like elements, along with the environment and through the consciousness, has become a human being, right? And this human being, from thinking and destiny, while he is going through the fears, he is going through the atmospheres, he is going through the phases, he is going through the worlds, he is going through the states, he is going through the substates and acquiring a matured state of a form. That means they are all coming together, right? That is very similar to the evolution that our understanding is going through, and we are going through the 5 kingdoms.
Mhm.
What are the 5 kingdoms that we are going through?
Mineral.
Mineral kingdom. What are those minerals? Air, water, particles, subparticles, all those are the minerals, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Some of them are defining this one, but your minerals are broken down components of the universe. They are broken down components. They are components of the earth.
Yes, sir. Carbon dioxide, oxygen.
Yeah. So they are all part of this, and there is a lot of coherence between all the occupants of this universe, be it a parasite to an insect, to a human being, right? So you start as minerals, you put the minerals together, we form our skeletal structure, right? Then we put the various combinations which becomes the meat on the skeletal structure, and so on, and we evolve and we go on, right? So we pass through all those kingdoms. Actually, if you read another book by Sufi, on the Sufi, how do I put it? Sufism, right? You have got 7 layers of our soul, which is nothing but all these kingdoms, our progression through these kingdoms, ultimately acquiring the triune self state. So now what is happening? For understanding these in depth, here you are starting with a thought. The thought is to be balanced by the issuer of the thought. You have a thought, it is your responsibility to help all those individuals who are involved in helping you exteriorize that thought. That we are calling the soul family in spiritual tablets. Okay? And spiritual tablets on one side, then the application of the knower, thinker, doer, so that we are balancing every state of interaction. Okay, this is my vision. This is not what the books say, but how I am understanding this subject for application in real life. So, now what has happened? I've got the broken down structure. I have to put it together to fill into the various stages of consciousness for the knower, for the thinker, for the doer. There is a structure behind it. That structure is the way the thoughts move to exteriorization. That I am calling my thoughts are defining my destiny. And my destiny, when it comes to spiritual tablets, my thoughts are defining my karma. Okay. This karma from the spiritual concept has got about 47 or 40 plus or 35 plus different perspectives of divine virtues, which I need to experience 360 degrees, and that becomes my reincarnation plan. Are you all with me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Right? And for that evolution to happen properly, we have defined a way of life, which in spiritual tablets is structured into understanding of duality, non-duality, understanding of various stages and gradations as we progress, then the importance of how they are bound together through relationships and five binders, and so on, right? And then when there is a malfunction, there is manifestation of a disease. Disease also is dictated by imbalanced thoughts, because diseases define our scenario of understanding, of learning and progressing thereby. Are you all with me?
This is where I have a little bit confusion.
Yeah, go ahead. Ask the question. Clarify.
See, before
Either you
coming
will
to
get clarified or I will get clarified.
the meditation, my brain was on a autopilot path, and
Okay.
whatever my childhood experiences, the input of karma, whatever, I have designed my thought. I have designed my thoughts to go in a one particular direction and
Hmm.
play in any one of the Darshad Varga. Either I'm a Lobhi or a I'm a calm, play in Kama or a Moha, whatever, right? That is out of my control, and I never had any thought of, I never had any intention of controlling it. It is a train that is going.
Hmm.
Okay, but
Hmm.
now after and probably my thought patterns were already predefined by one of those 35 or plus evolution stages where I am in today, where I have come to the life today, this life, right?
Okay.
But now what is happening is, now because we have gone through this meditation theory and all the spiritual tablets and all of these inputs, we are putting an effort to control our thoughts, and we are seeing the result of the thought to a destiny. As I explained some of my experiences before, probably you are a master and you might have seen many more things, right? So if we did not have these inputs, I would have continued in my autopilot thinking. But now I'm trying to change my thinking in some way. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me try to help you clarify that understanding.
Yeah.
Okay. If I take life as such, life progression depends on two fundamental legs. One is the spiritual, one is the materials. Okay. Till we come to a particular stage of evolution, understanding, etc., we are in the physical, materialistic world only. Hmm. That is where some of these elements have a role to play for us to learn.
Okay.
Learn the ability to balance the Arishad Varga. Okay. Arishad Vargas is again thoughts only, if you really see. They are exteriorization of thoughts which are triggered by the feeling and desire imbalance. Hmm. Right? So that balancing act of all those things from the
I just,
material. Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I just mentioned, my point. I mean, my point of view, because so sometimes the disease or any health issue comes to us for us to learn something from that. In my case, I mean, I used to have some back problem, and then I used to think about this. Oh my God, how do I cope up with this? And always I used to think negatively when I had this back problem. Suddenly it got so severe. So I mean, it even though I was doing 1 hour, in the morning and evening, it was not enough. So it's going through so much back pain. Suddenly I heard some experiences through some videos Then I said, okay, let me try doing 3 hours per day for 40 days. Then after when I started doing, suddenly it started healing whatever energy I was getting. So I used to have a lot of physical experiences, body energy when it was going through some shaking and all. But in that process, what I learned was this came to me, uh, to increase my sadhana and to learn something else more from West. Until that time, I was not reading enough books, Western masters books. So first thing I accepted that I have this problem, sorry, I did something wrong. And also before I used to put so much negative energy, and now I changed my thinking pattern. So because I read in books saying that when we put more and more energy on that, we are giving more energy to the problem, the health issue. So I learned that, and then slowly I changed that pattern. That also, I think it helped.
Yes.
So this, yeah.
So
this is, yeah.
Let us analyze that experience.
Mm-hmm.
You were suffering.
Yeah.
Okay. So in spiritual tablets, how would we treat that kind of a situation? There is suffering, first of all. So primary first 40 days goes towards your meditation as a prescription.
Mm-hmm.
During the meditation, you will go through various kinds of
Changes.
releasing this. Suppose
Yeah.
I tell you, while you are meditating, generally all these problems come because the energy comes and stays at the lower ends of your body, which is the root chakra, the Swadhisthana chakra, and your Manipura chakra.
Manipura. Yeah.
Right? And while you are meditating, can you please contract your muscles and gather all this energy and start throwing it out while you are exhaling? So you are utilizing the framework of meditation, Anapanasati, with the wisdom of having understood by hearing people or by listening to various videos of how they did it, increasing your wisdom thereby.
Yeah.
Okay. You have increased your knowledge.
Yes.
Right? Now, how to apply, your thinker is telling you between righteousness and what? Reason.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You are able to take that wisdom, bring it here, and then telling the doer, do it like this, in this framework. You will end up balancing. In the process, you are identifying what all you have to let go, where all you have to apply the concept of gratitude, where all you have to apply the changes in energy pattern by virtue of the emotions that you need to give. Okay.
Yes.
And you are manifesting an exteriorization of eliminating a problem that you have faced.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Are others able to appreciate the sequence of events? And everything is being done by thought. Okay. So, the power of thought, the understanding how it is going through and changing the combination, because what is inside, what is outside is the same entity. It is the elements of the universe. Whether you recognize or not, all those are inside you. What are you giving energy to? What are you giving thoughts to? Can help you heal or suffer. both. Okay, that is becoming the entities which is forming your aura around you. Okay, we will come to diseases, and we will come to, from thought, thinking and destiny, we will come into the formation of the four cavities, what is filled in that cavity, what are the systems of life, etc., as we progress. But as of now, is this understanding of the two, why I have been telling you, all of you, one should read this book and also the spiritual tablet. This is the objective behind it. Does it lay the foundation for our revision or preparation towards the exam? There is one more bit of this left which I will cover next Tuesday. But are you all with me? Are you able to appreciate the relationship between the two and stitch your individual story?
Mhm.
Any questions? Next 15 minutes is for QA. Thank you, Bala ma'am. That was a wonderful experience you shared, which could be utilized to integrate all the concepts I was talking about.
Thank you. Thank you.
The first few lessons of our basic spiritual tablets also have been covered in this discussion today.
I want to ask the team if they have ever experienced any of those extra sensory powers after the coming to the meditation path and the spiritual tablets. Now to start the discussion, I'll tell you, I'm afraid of myself now because as I see my thoughts are happening, like previously, I mean, like any other human being, I used to scold my boss and give him gali and all that, and never bothered about that, never thought that it is going to happen. Now I get angry, I give the gali, and immediately I'm saying, no, he doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it. And I'll put a positive thought. No, he has to have a good health. He has to have a good health. Okay.
No, Ramakrishna sir, it happened to me, and I think I shared it in one of the
Yeah.
classes, and I don't remember if I did or not. And I'm
Yeah.
talking of almost 35 years ago, where I realized never ever to say anything negative about anybody. And what
Yeah.
happened? My dad was posted in Jammu, and I used to teach in a school. And so
Yeah.
one of the students came and asked me, "Ma'am, I have to read the news in the morning. What do I read?" And I said, "Oh, you know what? Just say Ziaul Haq died. You know, Ziaul Haq used to be the president of
Yeah.
Pakistan, and
Yeah.
living in Jammu, we used to be able to watch Pakistan TV directly. And
Yeah.
you know what? The same evening, his plane got sabotaged and they all died.
Yeah.
And it was such a shock to me that I just said it, but see, universe has a way of doing things. So
Yeah.
you should be so careful what you say. And after that,
Yeah.
I've never ever said anything. So it happens, these kind of things happen.
Oh, these used to happen even earlier, and people would say, this fellow's tongue has got black spots. Be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I've had several experiences too. For some reason, immediately after COVID, I remembered one of my very old friends. He was actually not my friend. He was my senior, but my then husband's classmate. For
Okay.
some reason, oh, he should join my company. I hadn't met him for like more than 12 years.
Mhm.
Started in June, and around August, it was like an obsession, like, no, he should join. And then I'll forget. Then again, why he should join. I would literally see him join. Then I forgot about it. He was then a MD in Credit Suisse. And in August, suddenly I completely forgot about him. In February, I was looking up phone book and I saw that name. It's a very unique name. I mean, and I'm like, this combination cannot be true. So I went and looked in LinkedIn, and he was in my company. So I pinged him. Hey, is it you? And he was like, oh yes, I am. So it was like, I had no idea. I had not spoken to him like for more than 12 years. And same thing happened after again after COVID. For some reason, I felt like there's a this thing bank branch that it's going to close. Like I've lived in this country for so many years and I've never experienced a branch closing. And I kept thinking again and then after 2 or almost 3 months, I got 2 letters from that bank. Others, I've closed out everything in that bank except my safe deposit. I got 2 letters and I'm like holding it. Oh, this is for the closing of the bank, or they're just calling me to take my safe box, contents of the safe. And then open it. And it's exactly the same reason.
So what does that indicate? From whatever you have studied, in both the cases, Ramakrishna sir and in all the 3 cases, Anjali ma'am and Chandra Shetty.
I don't think this in this particular case it is manifestation. It is not that the
No,
thought.
it is not manifestation. It is third eye opening.
Yeah, yeah. And in this, actually, in my case, I had not even gotten into. I was not even meditating at that time.
No, that's okay. See,
Yeah.
and see, that is what happens in terms of what we learn. We are conscious of it or we are unconscious of it.
Yes.
If you read, I just started reading David Hawkins, The Eye of the Eye. No, not the conscious map.
Conscious map here.
No. I'm not talking about the consciousness map. It is what I am talking about is there is another book that he had written in the year 2020, I think 2019 or something like that, which was published in 2019-20. I don't know if he was alive then, but those books have been published. And that book talks about the eye of the eye, which is, see, he has written extensively on consciousness. The power, the consciousness map, the various stages of emotions, the scores against emotions, all those are his books. Okay, so when we vibrate at those levels, right, first of all, we need to recognize that we are energies, right? Now, when this third eye has started opening, you start getting these intuitions. That is the opening stage, right? Then you misuse it, you will also undergo loss.
So I'll share. I won't say this. I think I manifested it. As you know, like I'm heading a school, so we were having some admin problem from the Directorate of Education. There were some issues which were lingering on and on and on, and this DD was giving me a lot of trouble. I don't know what happened to me while meditating. I just start thinking about the problem, that what can be the solution, and somehow a thought came that what if it gets transferred from here. And you won't believe, sir, after 2 weeks, I came to know that he's getting transferred. So I actually thought I'd turned into a witch or something and have cast a spell on him that he actually got transferred. So that I think I manifested, in my meditation. I used to actually think that how can I solve this problem? The only solution was that he should go away. Yeah. So that that is manifestation, right?
I wouldn't say it because manifestation is for the self. For the other, it is your influence of energy, but it would have got coupled with some of his own needs. Otherwise, it wouldn't have manifested.
Okay. Hmm.
See, that was your thought, which helped him get what he was thinking.
No, I didn't do him any harm because he's gone at the same post elsewhere. But he's
No, no,
not
no.
troubling my zone now.
You wanted it as good riddance,
Yeah,
not as a
yeah.
benefit. Correct. So
Yes, sir.
somebody else may think something for you, and that will happen to you. Be careful.
So I'm conscious now, so I'm not troubling people anymore. I used to be an intimidator, but not anymore.
Correct. So see, the basic thing is, as long as we are able to put this understanding together, our appreciation of the topic of spiritual tablets will that much be enhanced. Okay. Because I wanted to lay this foundation so that the doubts in people's mind in terms of why spiritual tablets, how spiritual tablets, it will help you change the way of life for so many, including yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Any other question? So now, okay, now let me link, tie up. So the experiences that you people share, right, is your ability to put energy into that areas or those areas of thoughts which are giving you inputs that can be used for the benefit of others or the benefit of progression of the universe. If you don't do that, the way it would harm would be the blockages in the body, which will ultimately eventually cause you pain, which your wisdom will help you either to suffer or overcome them. That means when pain is controlling you, you suffer. When you control pain, you don't suffer. You are able to observe them and let it pass. Right? So that is what spiritual tablets does to us. That is how we enable others to increase their wisdom and cure themselves. Then your levels of intuition and all that based on the practices and your wisdom will be different at different stages. So we